Do you know what makes you happy? If you're like most people, the things you think make you happy are not in fact what actually drive your happiness. Many behavioral scientists have delved into the data, empirically examining happiness, assigning metrics to it, and measuring when, how, and why it rises and falls. But there are a couple of important questions still left unanswered. What factors lead us to say, I feel happy? And are those factors fixed, or can they be changed? The answers to these questions are important as they shed light on why our understanding of what makes us happy is so often inaccurate and why we make the choices we do. Choices, after all, are often fueled by a desire to optimize happiness. I've been working with Cassie Mogilner and Kamvar to examine these questions. In one of our first studies, we examined personal blog posts, which in many ways are the diaries of the digital age. We surveyed 12 million posts looking for correlations between mentions of happiness and other words describing the author's emotional state. When we looked at the results against the demographic of the bloggers, we found universal trends. The meaning of happiness appears to shift in systematic ways every 5 or 10 years, demarking a set of chapters that tell the emotional story of our lives. Our story starts with a chapter of discovery, where we're searching for our goals, unsure what they are. In our teens, we report feeling isolated, unappreciated, sometimes unloved, often uncertain. When happiness is felt, it's experienced as excitement, an angsty form of happiness. In our mid-20s, the story of our life shifts to pursuit. Having identified our goals, we go out to conquer the world. Happiness is experienced when we feel successful and capable, especially when validated in the eyes of others. Into our late 20s and early 30s, ambition and desire for success remain high, but happiness becomes more associated with balance. We talk about having children, building a family, and even our energy levels and bodies, perhaps because it's the first time they've started to go downhill. In our late 30s and throughout our 40s, happiness becomes connected to a growing sense of meaning that comes with raising a family, a sense of spirituality and community, and the realization of the impact we can have in the world. It's around this time that the chapters shift to themes of savoring, where happiness is tied to feeling content and connected, where we appreciate what we've achieved and what we have. This feeling of gratefulness only grows into our 50s and 60s, when happiness becomes increasingly associated with feeling calm, lucky, and blessed. However, what's important is these chapters are not set in stone. We can rewrite or at least edit them. In one study, we asked young adults and older adults to listen to 2 very different versions of the same song, one upbeat and one calm. As we predicted, younger adults were happier after listening to the upbeat song, whereas the opposite was true for older adults. Then, we tested whether we could change people's mindsets, making older adults take on the mindset of younger adults and vice versa. So we had a subset of older adults spend a few minutes in the mindset of younger adults by asking them to think about their future. Sure enough, the older adults who spent time contemplating the future felt happier when listening to the upbeat song. And similarly, we could shift younger adults into an older mindset by having them meditate on the present. Younger adults who spent a few minutes breathing deeply focused on the present started to associate happiness with peacefulness. This research suggests that our mindset is even stronger than age when determining what happiness actually feels like. In this light, our meaning of happiness is constantly shaped and reshaped by small choices we make every day. So much of our time and energy is spent trying to get to the point where we can simply say, I feel happy. But by better understanding these chapters, we can better understand the answer to the question, what makes us happy? And why do we make the choices we do? And by knowing how to adjust or rewrite the chapters, we can become more active authors of our own life story.